So what is your name?
My name is Tamás Görbe.
And what is your field of study?
My field of study is mathematical physics, and within that, integrable systems.
And how did you come to apply for the HLF?
Okay, so I met someone who attended a previous HLF, and they told me to apply because it's great fun, and so I did apply and got selected. So.
And how has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been a really good experience. Seeing these scientific heroes of mine and getting to know them is really, it's fantastic, really. And also meeting the young researchers, it's really good to see these different stories and like the ways they came to be here. It's really fantastic, yeah.
So you mentioned your heroes. Who were the heroes that you especially wanted to meet here?
Yeah, okay, so there were a couple of them, starting with, of course, Michael Atiyah. He's, I think, one of the greatest mathematicians of our time. And also it was great to meet Martin Hellman and a couple of other people, like the younger ones especially. So yes.
Did you gain any unusual insights? Did they surprise you in any way?
I guess yes. There were a couple of surprises. So especially, okay. So one other person was Bill Phillips, the physicist. So I got my PhD in physics, and it was really interesting to meet this Nobel laureate and see him and hear him think about physics and ask these very basic and simple questions which I did not think of and so far. And to see him, the way he thinks, his thought process was really interesting. It gave me a perspective on these things.
Now you mentioned the other young researchers. Tell me about that experience, interacting with them.
So meeting the young researchers was especially fun because I could see these different stories. So at each stages of them, being undergraduates, PhD students and postdocs, you could find that they already have, some of them, they already have pretty strong ideas and concrete plans of what to do, and that was nice. And also it was nice to see these other activities they might have, so related to their research, like hobbies, but which are not really hobbies. It's a bit of a mathematics mixed in, or computer science mixed in. Yeah, it's really inspiring to see all these different people.
I remember before the event, the HLF published a little interview with you,
yes.
And you have this interest in string art.
Yes, that's right. So it was, yeah, exactly this thing which interests me in other people as well. So for me, it was a way of visualizing a certain abstract mathematical concept for people who are non-mathematicians, trying to make them to have them this easier way to it, so they can appreciate it or at least understand it when I say something is beautiful. So I don't know if I should tell more about these things or yes. Okay. So these are basically some higher dimensional objects, and they are quite abstract. Of course, seeing something which is, for example, 8-dimensional is impossible and you can't visualize them. But basically I made these 2D projection, this shadow of them, which are very symmetric. And so I made them using needles and colorful threads, like strings. And this way, when people look at it, they can immediately see their beauty, even though they might not understand the mathematics behind them. So that was the basic idea.
I did see the pictures. They are beautiful.
Okay.
Do you think that this experience will change the way that you think about your own work or do your own work?
Well, it might change it in certain ways. So so asking these basic questions, which I mentioned, sometimes you get so involved or sort of so blindsided by your own work. Sort of you go in one direction and dig deep, but forget about the sort of those questions which you have when you are younger. And meeting some older people who were very well established and seeing that they seeing that they are still asking these basic questions, questioning everything really, to the point where you can actually start building something new, it's actually changed quite some mindsets I had.
So it surprised you that the advanced laureates are still asking basic questions?
Yes, you often hear this cliche that you should stay a child, or sort of keep this childish behavior of questioning everything and asking these simple questions. Sometimes they call it simple questions. They might not be very simple, just basic maybe. And yes, now I see maybe for the first time how this works in action, or how this would lead to something new maybe. These kinds of mindset. Yeah.
That sort of is similar to something that other researchers like yourself have said, that they were surprised at kind of how human the laureates were.
Yes.
Did you have that experience?
Yes, definitely. So when you study in school their results, you don't see the human side. And so to see their struggles, to hear about their stories, what they had to go through, starting from these different backgrounds, that's really inspiring. So it gives you a perspective. It gives you sort of a way to appreciate what you have, and because compared to some people, some laureates, I'm already like at a better stage that they've been when they were my age. So yeah, it's definitely makes you think and appreciate your current situation better.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, to anyone who watches this interview, I would, especially young people, I would encourage them to apply to HLF, because it's a fantastic program. And they will experience things which they might be able to build on and would never forget for their entire lives. I'm certain of that.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for asking.